good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, I believe that undefeated two-division world champion, WBO reigning super middleweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Billy Joe Saunders will ultimately get a split decision victory over four-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, who is currently the unified WBC, WBA super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar Saul Canelo Alvarez. Billy Joe Saunders, I believe, will get the upset victory and will be Billy Joe Saunders currently is 30-0, 14 wins by way of knockout. He's 31 years of age. He stands at 5'11" with a 71-inch arm reach. Saul Canelo Alvarez is 55 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 37 wins by way of knockout. He is 30 years of age at 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. I believe tonight that the judges, for the first time in the Canelo Alvarez fight, will have the scorecards right. And I believe the judges tonight will be looking to make a statement that they can ultimately give a decision victory correctly to Canelo Alvarez's opponent. I believe they'll be looking to make a statement by doing so because I believe they hear all the chatter that if you don't get a knockout victory, and even if you get a clean sweep victory over Canelo Alvarez as 5-division world champion, legendary, iconic superstar, Hall of Fame boxer who was 50-0, Floyd Money Mayweather did, who still saw one of the judges make it a draw, you can't get a victory over Canelo Alvarez. I believe tonight, Billy Joe Saunders, that version of Billy Joe Saunders that showed up against David Lemieux back in 2017, he's going to show up tonight, and he's going to outbox and weather the storm and stay disciplined against Canelo Alvarez the entire night. I believe there will be times where he's going to have to weather the storm. And if he is not able to weather that storm, then I believe Canelo Alvarez is going to stop Billy Joe Saunders. But I believe that Billy Joe Saunders tonight is going to stick to a great game plan. He's going to utilize his legs. He has the style. He has the tools. He has the physical abilities that it takes to beat a Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, he has very fast hands. He puts his combinations together beautifully. He slips punches and counters very well. And Canelo Alvarez has one of the highest, if not the highest, ring IQ in the sport of boxing currently today. He did pick up a lot of traits from Floyd Mayweather. He just doesn't have the physical athletic ability to see them through all the time. But that's why we saw Erislandy Lara, who was a slick southpaw boxer. He was outboxing Canelo Alvarez. But Erislandy Lara, he didn't get the nod. Thus, the rather 80% of the boxing world thought Lara won the fight. But he didn't get the nod. And these are some of the complaints about the judges in Canelo Alvarez fights. We saw him struggle with Austin Trout, who's a slick southpaw. But when the judges, they had an open scorecard. And by the time they announced the open scorecards, all 3 judges had Austin Trout so far behind that he nearly needed a knockout in a fight that most people saw a very, very close fight. If you had Canelo Alvarez win at that point, maybe 1, maybe 2 rounds. But the judges had it so far, the gap so huge that Austin Trout, he had to get out of character. He had to go for the knockout. He made a mistake. He got knocked down. And then ultimately he lost the fight. Most people, like I said, thought Erislandy Lara won the fight. We know in the Floyd Mayweather fight, one of the judges saw the draw when Floyd Mayweather ultimately won every single round. Now you could nitpick and say, well, you thought Canelo may have won this round or may have won that round. But for the most part, Floyd Mayweather won rounds 1 through 12. Then we have the Triple G fights, both Triple G fights, in where most people think Triple G won both those fights. I personally thought that Canelo Alvarez won the first fight against Triple G, and I thought he won the second fight against Triple G. I thought he edged out both fights. But A lot of people thought that Triple G, it could have swung either way. And most people thought Triple G could have won the fight. Then you had this situation, ultimately, that made me come to my decision today, was Amir Khan was outboxing Canelo Alvarez. Now, he paid for it. He made a huge mistake in the fight, and it cost him the fight. He got knocked out. But what I saw was Amir Khan, his hand speed, his mobility, his boxing ability. It gave Canelo Alvarez lots of trouble, and he was outboxing Canelo Alvarez. But Amir Khan, as he always does in most of his fights, he made a mistake. He stayed in the pocket too long. He didn't see that Canelo Alvarez was setting him up for an overhand right counter, and he got overhand right countered and knocked out. I believe that Billy Joe Saunders, the version that we saw against David Lemieux back in 2017, who's a big, slick southpaw. Now, oddly enough, Floyd Mayweather, who's only 5'8", Erislandy Lara, who's 5'9", they have longer arm reaches than Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders has a 71-inch arm reach. Floyd Mayweather has a 72. Erislandy Lara, he has a 75-inch arm reach. Billy Joe Saunders has a 71-inch arm reach. Now, Billy Joe Saunders is naturally a bigger guy than Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara. So Billy Joe Saunders, he is. Billy Joe Saunders, and he's slick. He has the ability to slip. He has the ability to box, use his jab, put combinations together, and be very slippery if he so chooses. He has very quick hands, and he has respectable power in both hands. And I believe tonight, if his legs ultimately are on point, as it was in the David Lemieux fight, I believe Billy Joe Saunders is going to get a split decision victory. And I believe the judges is going to surprise the entire boxing world and give Billy Joe Saunders a split decision victory over Canelo Alvarez. And then I believe we're going to ultimately see a rematch. And I believe that in the rematch, Billy Joe Saunders is going to let his guard down. He's going to feel so accomplished. He's going to feel like he, did what he needed to do. He won't be disciplined in the second fight. And I believe Canelo Alvarez will knock him out. I believe that if he's not, at the very least, the version we saw against David Lemieux, he's going to get knocked out. Because I believe that Canelo Alvarez is a technician. But I just have a hunch that Billy Joe Saunders, on this massive stage tonight in the sport of boxing, as everybody's expecting things to go in the way of Canelo Alvarez, most people, they feel like Canelo Alvarez is going to knock him out. Because Billy Joe Saunders, since the David Lemieux fight, has not had an impressive victory, to say the least. He's had lackluster performances. He's performed down to the level of his competition. And I believe tonight, he's going to shock the world, and he's going to rise to the occasion. I believe he's going to shock Canelo Alvarez. He's going to rise to the occasion. He tried to play a lot of, games with Canelo Alvarez fight week about the ring, saying he won't take the fight, trying to, poke at Canelo Alvarez. I don't believe that's going to work. I believe that Canelo Alvarez, as he always does, he stays consistent all the way across the board. He's not going to get out of character. He's not going to press the fight if something we not normally see him do. But I believe that Billy Joe Saunders and his team, they saw what Amir Khan had success with. They saw Erislandy Lara, and they saw what Austin Trout and Floyd Mayweather was able to have success with. And I believe they're going to put it together tonight, and we're ultimately going to get the second loss in Canelo Alvarez's career. And Billy Joe Saunders is going to be the WBC, WBA, WBO super middleweight world champion. I believe September, Mexican Independence Day weekend, we're going to get a massive rematch between Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez, possibly in the UK at that point in time. And I believe that Canelo Alvarez is going to knock out Billy Joe Saunders in a highly anticipated rematch, because the boxing world after tonight is going to be ecstatic, to say the least. It's going to be a surprise. But Billy Joe Saunders, everybody's going to be talking about the judges actually gave a fight to a Canelo Alvarez opponent in Billy Joe Saunders, a split decision for Billy Joe Saunders. So ultimately, if he's the version I believe he's going to be, that David Lemieux version, it's the feeling I get tonight. I could be wrong, and it could be a knockout victory for Canelo Alvarez, but I believe Billy Joe Saunders is going to get a split decision victory tonight over Canelo Alvarez and shock the world. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the Real Deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.